All right, guys, what's up? Long time no talk. I'm back. Uh, has been a while, huh? Sorry. I've been busy with writing my PhD thesis. It's not going great. It's okay. I mean, like, I'm writing, but the progress is a lot slower than I thought. I haven't been writing academic texts for such a long time, and it's a very different deal from writing fiction or writing autobiography, to be specific. Like, you really need to reference other people. You can't just go everywhere like Kanye West. I was listening to Joe Rogan Experience with Kanye West, and yeah, I mean, like, it must feel great to be in a position where you don't have to reference anybody and you just go on. And all those things seem to be okay. You can talk about a thousand million ideas and don't have to back them up at all. You just ramble on. Mm. Need to figure out how to become Kanye West first, and then I can do that as well. But at this point, I'm just a doctor student at Tallinn University, so I still need to reference a lot of people. Still have to give credits to where the credits due, and it's challenging because a lot of time it's just ideas, and it seems very, how do I put it? A lot of ideas that I want to write about seems so self-evident to me. I just don't think I need to explain it. I really don't think there's a need for that. But that's not how academic papers are written. So I'm gotta figure out. So far, I'm writing at 5 page a day, but my working day is about 8 to 10 hours, sometimes even 12. Yeah, that's slow in my opinion. I wrote a 200-page memoir or autobiography in 2 weeks. So that's more than around 15 pages, and I think I took away quite a few. Um, I, Here's how I write. I start a day just writing random thoughts. I don't really know what's going on. Sometimes it's just words, right? I just write words down and see how they flow. It doesn't even have to be meaningful. And sometimes, well, most of the time, in the morning when I just wake up, I don't know what to write. I have no idea. I have a general clue of where I want the direction of the writing to go, but it's a very vague idea. It's kind of like, I know I want to be successful one day, but that's such a vague idea. Like, what do you consider successful? Like, um how would you measure it, right? What specific goal are there? I don't know, but that's a direction I want to go to, or say that I want to self improve on myself. Again, it's such a vague idea. What is self improvement for you? Like, is it mental health? Is it physical health? Is it better understanding of Chinese food? I have no idea. Like, for us, there's so many different way to self improve. It's a vague idea. So I wake up, if I'm about to write something, when I wake up, I have a vague idea where I want the conversation, where I want the writing to go towards, but it's so vague. So there's no way to get there. It's kind of like there's this little place up in the air, and there's no ladders, no nothing. And what do? I pick up a pen, metaphorical pen, but it's just my MacBook Air. Turn it on. Probably watch a few YouTube video about like airline reviews or food reviews or restaurant reviews. I like those. It's a great start of the day. And I write. I write whatever come to my mind. And most of the time, I mean, like, absolutely most of the time, nothing come to my mind. So I just write random shit. Like, I will type I, or and, or flow, river, water, just random words. in a line, and I'll continue writing on it. It's sort of like an improv. And those words, when they're not in your heads anymore, those, subconscious flow of thoughts and text and words, when they manifest themselves on paper, like they assume their own life. They have their own life now. They're not yours. Like they're no longer your thoughts. They're out there, and your consciousness start to interact with them in such a specific way that it informs you. It gives you ideas now. For example, if I think of what river and I write it like a 10 times on the document, and I look at those river, and in my head there's this picture, there's imagery of river now, or those that particular movie was Brad Pitt in there, where he was fishing in a river, in the middle of the river. I think it's called The Legend of the Fall, right? And the more I dig into it, I start to think about like the character of Brad Pitt in that movie. He was this rebellious little dude who went out for education and then came back with an Indian Native American girlfriend, and then was, very frustrated with the system that was going on around him, the situation where he was in. He didn't feel like a sense of direct. Like, there's a lot of things I can say about Brad Pitt in that movie. And then I started to think, what does that make me think about me? Like, where am I in life? Where do I feel like I can relate to the situation Brad was in that movie? Right? And then maybe I continue thinking about if I were, in the 19th century West frontier, or I don't know, was it the West? I think it was the West Coast. So, well, yeah, what would I do? Would I be a cowboy? Probably not. There's no Chinese cowboy there. Would I be fixing the railway? Would I be bombing holes in the mountains to make tunnels with all my fellow Chinese immigrants and get paid like pennies a day? I don't know. Would I wear one of those, like, those hats all my ancestors used to wear? Those big brim, but then made of like grass. I don't know. Would I be doing that? Would I be wearing that? What would I look like? Would I have a girlfriend? Would I eat Chinese food? Do they have noodle in America, in West Coast back in the 1900? But yeah, like, now you have material to write about. Like, it's more solid. It's still nothing academic. It's still nothing biographical, but you have something to ponder on, right? This is like imaginary stuff. This is hypothetical situations. But then you build upon that. Then you think about, maybe I don't have to be in the 19th century to feel that type of way, right? So that hypothetical me, hypothetical Pinchon in the 19th century America, now have something in common with this Pinchon right now. Like the one who is sitting in his office, 9:30, 8:30, I don't know, like pretty late at night in Tallinn University, in Tallinn, Estonia, 2020, in the mid of the COVID-19 pandemic. What is that imaginary me have in common with this me that is sitting right here in this pretty comfy university provided little couch, right? What do we have in common? Do we have anything in common? I believe we do. And that's a good place to start writing now, right? I mean, like, I would write about that story of my imagination, and then the next part that follows up would be that comparison that arises from the comparison of an imaginary me and the realistic me. Well, what is a realistic me, right? but I will kind of develop upon that, and that will be the starting point of my writing for that day. It's easier said than done. Most of the time, nothing come out of it. It's not, that simple. But this process will go on for hours. And maybe 4 hours in, I will be able to write like a few pages. But again, the starting point of this is the toughest part. If I'm committed to writing, every day waking up and just commit to typing the first word, that the toughest part. Like, I just don't want to do it because I know how much hard work, how much pain that is gonna be. But once you write that first word, either it's I or river or water or anything liquid, then the ball start rolling. At the very beginning, you might not realize the ball is rolling because it's so small of a ball. But it rolls and rolls and it rolls. And eventually it's so big. It assumes its own life and it gets faster. So the writing is the easiest towards the end of the day. And at that time, everything seems to be on like cruise control. I can write like 4 hours and without resting until my back and my neck start to hurt and I'll like stop. But yeah, right now I'm still pretty slow, especially the pondering part, the making connection part at the beginning of the day. It can take many hours, maybe many days sometime. And yeah, that is dragging the process so far. But I set a goal to myself. I say I really want to get a doctor degree before, like at this point, I just want a doctor's degree. That's it. I'm definitely not going to be using it. I'm definitely not going to be staying in university after graduation. This whole doctor's degree is just for me. Nobody else. Just for me. I'll be using it for no good. I'll just be using it for what is intended for me. Self-improvement. Getting it and be able to use that doctor title for all my incoming flight, which are very likely not gonna happen anytime soon because of the COVID situation. But yeah, hopefully we're gonna get this done when I'm 29. One more year to go. And yeah, what did I set out to do? I had 3 goals for me before I turned 30. 3 goals. 30 is a significant age for Chinese or for me. In Chinese we have this phrase called 30而立. I think it's Confucius who said that. 30而立 means you get to understand or you know how to stand up. Again, quote unquote, stand up, metaphorically, stand up, spirituality, that kind of talk. Spiritually, stand up. Psychologically, stand up. When you're 30, you get to stand up when you're 30. It's a significant move. It's coming of age. Not the arbitrary one, like the 18 where you're physically developed. 30 is like this transformation that happens within you. That tells you that now you're your young man. Like you're supposed to stand up for yourself for everything that comes your way. There's no excuse anymore. I remember I was 18. I remember the time when I was 18. I was not able to stand up for pretty much anything. But if you're 30, you're expected to handle the world with your integrity, with resilience, and with strength. That's my understanding of Confucius, right? I don't know what you're supposed to stand up with, but in my opinion, it's resilience, strength. What's the third thing? I forgot. But yeah, you're supposed to stand up. Right? 30 it's that age. And for that specific year, for 30 years of my life on this planet, the blink of a time in the scale of the universe warming, I set 3 goals, I think, since I was 20, early 20s, right? I don't remember when, but it was kind of like gradually coming to being. I don't remember specifically when did I set these goals, but 3 goals. First, I want to write a book myself and get it published. Second, I want to be a doctor. Either those one who give you a prescription or not, it doesn't matter. I want to be a doctor. And third is a secret. Third, well, the first two are about to be completed. The first is completed. Wrote a book, published it. It's in Estonia. It's on Amazon. First year in Estonia. Esimene aasta Eestis. It's available. First goal accomplished. Second one on the way. Right? Finish all the coursework of my doctor's degree. Did all I'm supposed to do. All that is lacking is finish the writing, defend it, get that diploma, send it back home, and just have it over with. And the third one is a mysterious one. The third one I haven't accomplished. Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm hopeful. You see that? Yeah. Oh, yeah, 3 goals for the 30. I don't know. Recently I've been thinking about the third goal quite a bit. It's not like there's some kind of goal where you need to accumulate, you need to put in the work, and eventually it built on some sort of a platform, and eventually will have that. It requires accumulation. This one is one of those, right? I'm not for certain that if I would achieve that goal, and it's not even an end point that matters. It's not even like you accumulate, and finally you get to this point where you can grab the fruit or whatever. Like there's never that solid fruit, and that's what I think is most difficult about the third goal. Is like it's unmeasurable. Like you can't measure it. That's the toughest part. If you can't measure it, like how would I know if I already got it or not? But I think I will know. Once I know, I'll let you know. You'll know too. Oh, how is life? Um, Winter. Yeah, darkness. It's not getting to me this year. See, I'm still very tan face, feeling healthy, still feeling energetic. Because I found a way to beat the system. I'm going to solariums every week. It costs €9. I always use room number 3. This was the best kind of equipment in there, the best tanning bed. It's not too intense. It's not too softy. Like it's just the right amount of radiance for me. And it costs €9 for 10 minutes. It's not cheap, but it's not expensive. I can afford it. Every week I go there for that 10 minute, and when I come out, I look a little bit darker, and then the darkness kind of fade away throughout the week, and I go there again. I'm a little bit darker again, But don't underestimate that 10 minutes. Oh my God. Oh, yes. That 10-minute make a big difference. The mood improves. You feel like you have been outside all day, and it reminds you of the summer. Like, I don't know physiologically if that does anything to me, but like as a placebo effect, it's working, you know? I do feel better. That's all that matters. I don't miss the sunlight that much. And to be honest, all this darkness is kind of, good for writing. Because you don't really want to go outside. You just want to be cocooning a little apartment in Pirita and write away. But yeah, life has been pretty good. I've been very consistent with my workout. I've been going there 3 times a week. And it's going great. I'm really loving it. I discovered how to cook steak better. Previously, I always had a problem with cooking steak. I never really understand like how to get it right. But now I have a system. Like I buy this called strip loin. I remember from Remy, and come back with it. I cook it with coconut oil. I know it's not conventional. Hear me out. Coconut oil. It's very strong. I've heard from a friend that you shouldn't be cooking with coconut oil because it's got this strong scent on itself, right? You can't really taste the meat that much. It's gotta overpower the beef. But I do it because I don't know. I like the taste. I like that coconutty beef by the end of it. It's actually nice. And it's a personal preference. But I cook it. The thickness of the beef is like that much. I think it's 10 centimeter. It's not wait 10 centimeter. 1 centimeter. I think it's 10 millimeter. That thick. And I put it in a pan. Heated coconut oil. Put it in a pan. And one side is cooked for 4 minutes, and I roll it over another 4 minutes. I don't do those like what is it called? I don't know. You see those chefs, they constantly pouring those oil and juicy things on top of the steak again, sealing. I don't do that. Like first of all, there's not that much juice coming out of the beef here. Like it's very lean beef we get in Estonia. Like there's nothing with a lot of like a marble looking fat in between the tissues. Like it's not those wagyu high quality Japanese beef you see in fancy places. No, we don't have that. Or at least I haven't seen it. Like I can't afford it either. So I go to Remy, I get the cheapest beef steak I can find, and it's going for about €5 a pop. That's 150 gram or 200 grams. And there's not so much fat in there. It's just very lean beef. So I don't really seal it. I don't really do those fancy chef stuff, pouring the juice back on the top and do it again when I'm cooking it. No, I just let it sit. I go do my thing. 4 minute, flip it. Another 4 minute, take it out. I let it sit there for 10 minutes. And sometimes if I'm too hungry, I'll let it sit for 5 minutes. Cut it to slices. Pour salt, a little bit pepper. Oh, and kimchi. And kimchi, or either I have kimchi on the side, or I'll put like carrot, and cooked paprika. If I were to cook paprika, I would have cooked them with the beef on the side of it. And the carrot is actually called Korean salad. They recently started sell this in Remy. I don't know what local grocery store. I don't really know if they're Korean salad or not. Never seen them before. Never been to Korea either. But yeah, like they're called Korean salad. They're just thin slices of carrot that is, I think, not fermented. What is it called? Pickled. lightly, pickled very lightly. Maybe they have been in the pickle juice for maybe a week or less. It's very light flavor, pickled flavor. And then I put that on top of the cooked paprika on as a side dish, and then I'll have the beef on the side. It's very easy to cook. It doesn't take more than 20 minutes for the whole thing to get over, um, and it tastes delicious. Not always. It really depends on the beef. Like I think it has nothing to do with my cooking because I always do the exact same thing. But the beef quality, it's not consistent. Like especially when I'm experimenting with like different part of the cow, I can't. I can make sure it's always gotta be good. Like so far, I have been pretty happy with that one specific packaged meat. I think it's called strip loin. I'm not good with the name, but if I see the packaging, I'll know. It's green color, and yeah, I think it's ass of the cow. But if it's other part, and if it's a different shape, and if the packaging is different, I can I don't think I'm confident that I can do it right. But yeah, beef. I haven't been eating chicken at all for a long while now because every day right now I'm trying to limit like the meat consumption into one day. I'm trying to limit the meat consumption to one meal in a day. That's what I'm trying to say. So I only have like one meal like as lunch with meat, and every other meal I will do it like pretty vegan stuff. In the morning I'll have probably yogurt, and what am I talking about here? Why am I going on forever and ever about my diet? It's funny. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It helps with the digestion if I'm having only one time a meat diet and during the day, and other meals was I'm just so tired. Why am I so tired, man? Wow. Mm, man, all of a sudden I'm so tired. Have you guys like ever played this game? I remember I used to love this game. There's this game um about this little warrior. He's trying to climb up a tower, and And every tower he would just fight all these monsters that lives on that floor. And as he progress, as he goes up and up and up, he will meet more and more monsters, right? And was evidently, it's more and more challenging to beat up those monsters on the higher level. And the goal is to get the 21st floor, where he will defeat the final monster and save the princess or whatever. And I think you have this kind of game like in different variations, but the general principle is pretty simple. It's like a growth of a hero, the hero's journey kind of a game. As you progress, your challenges will kind of go along with your growth, and it will always be kind of like an even, tricky match, right? So there's three things, I think, three key elements, three kind of indicator of a growth in this game. First, it's called your blood, I believe. That's how much life you have in you, right? It's bloodline. It's a number. There's a line, has a number on the side. And then it's offense, it's attack, it's aggression, like those power that you have to hit somebody else, to hit the monster, right? And then there's a third line, that is the defense. Again, everything is assigned a number. The offense is this, the defense is this, the life is this. And whenever you defeat somebody or you pick up some kind of a treasure from the ground as you go on with your journey, you will you will gain one of those three things: the power to hit, the ability to defend, or your life, right? And to look at it not from a player's perspective, it's simple calculation. It's mathematics. Like, you need to figure out what's the most efficient way to assign those resources you have at the right time, in the right order, and you will have the right combination to defeat the final monster. Or just not having anybody you can fight, because how the system works is your power have to be, because a monster had the same three statistic as well. They also have their power, they have their defense, and they have their life. So how to defeat them is like your power have to be bigger than their defense, so you can, every strike you have over them, it's going to cause damage, and your defense hopefully is going to be bigger than their power, so they wouldn't even be causing you any damage. But if it's lower than their damage, then just see who has the longest life, because your life is it's gotta go down as you take each strike from the monster, and the monster's life is gotta go down as he take strikes from you. That's how it works. So it's simple mathematics. It's number countering numbers, and the key to complete the game is just to be able to, like I said, assign those resources that are given to you. For example, if you're giving a certain amount of money after defeating a monster, you need to know how to exchange that into, how many numbers, how many points of life, how many points of attacks, how many points of defense. You need to assign them accordingly into different category to weapon yourself up, to become the best version you can be, so you can level up, so you can do well in this monster fighting journey. That's from, not a player's perspective. Let's go back to when I was playing this game. I think I don't remember when was it, but from age 15 to early 20, I used to play this game. Not too much, but this is one of the games that I used to remember because I play it considerably more than all the other games. I wasn't good at any other games besides this one. I wasn't good at this one either, but I really liked it. And when I first played it, the first time, like the absolute first time when I was introduced to this game, it was either my cousin or a friend from high school who told me about this, because back then in 2008 to 2009, I remember it was one of the last year in high school. 2009, yeah, it was the second last year of high school for me. And back then I didn't have a computer, I didn't have a laptop or anything like that, but we do have this computer in our classroom, and during the day, like most of the time, we're not allowed to touch it. It's on the teacher's desk in the front of the classroom. We're not supposed to touch it. Plus, during the day, like it's always class for us. Like, so there's no time to play the computer game anyway. But during the lunch break, like we would have some free time, and we'll have roughly 40, 50 minutes of rest. Everybody used that time to have a nap because it was a really challenging time. Everybody want to get into the best university they could. So it was a good time for us to kind of just get a rest, a power nap. But I don't know, I wasn't feeling it. And back then, I was really good friend was was the guy who was, responsible for keeping this computer intact. He was also it was also my classmate. But every single class, there's one guy who keep the computer up and running for the teacher that has got to use it the next session. So he's a guy who figure out like how to hook up the power, or hook the USB on, or change the setting, and tell the teacher who have never taught in this class how to turn on PowerPoint. That's his assignment. That's a go-to guy. That's a go-to guy for the computer-related stuff, the technician in the classroom. I was really close with that guy. His name is Prince. Like literally translation, his name in Chinese is Wang Zi. It's even though it's written differently, but the sound of it is it's the same, like Wang Zi, which means prince, right? And I remember I was really close friend with him, and he used to use the lunch break time to play games. And there was one time that while he was playing this, he allowed me to play it a little bit with him as well. And that's the time I realized, oh, I like this one. I feel like I'm that guy. I want to defeat the next monster. It's very, to me, you see the game setting, the game visual was so elementary. It looks like one of those Game Boy Nintendo game from the early 90s. That's why you can play it off like on a website. You don't even have to download it because it was so simple, so elementary, so primitive, and so childish. But I really liked it because like it's an instant feedback. When you defeat a monster, it vanished away from your map. It disappears, and you see your growth like right away. Like you're getting this much more power, you're getting that much more defense, or you're getting this much more coin. You can go and pump yourself up, buy some life, buy some power, buy some defense. You can visually, numerically see your personal growth, right? That's such a great feeling. It was such a great feeling. I resonated with that. And I really liked it. I really liked the game. I remember after that, I would, like I wasn't hooked or anything, but whenever I got some opportunity to play a little bit, I would play. So in the next a couple of years, I'll revisit the game once in a while. I never was a game guy, but this is one of the games that I really felt like, yeah, but still, I'll play it maybe once every 4 months for a couple hours, and I only go for one game or two, and that's it. A couple hours, and I'm over it. Um, but yeah, the first a couple times, I never made it to the final monster. I never saw the top floor. I never managed to see the guy who I was even supposed to defeat and save the princess. I never saw the guy because my strategy was my strategy was so simple. I didn't care about the life. Whenever I get coins or rewards from beating the monster, I never exchange them for life. Never. So my life is only like 80 or 100 or 120. I never pump them up. Like the life is always low. But my strategy was I will go all the way with power. So I can fight as many people as possible. But also like I will do defense just enough so nobody can hurt me. But I keep that as a minimum, right? So if I know the next monster I'm gonna defeat have a power output of 80, I would just get my defense up to 80, so I can just beat him down. Like was my power, but he wouldn't be able to do his power because my defense is matching his power output, right? So he's not causing me any harm. My blood, my life wouldn't drop, so it doesn't matter. You see, in this scenario, as long as my power is more than his defense, and my defense is on the same level as his power, my life doesn't matter because I don't need to. I don't. My life wouldn't drop after his attack, right? So I figure like what do I need life for, right? That's my thinking. I don't think I need life. I would just not put any money or any rewards in life. I would just pump up the offense, my power, and then make sure my defense is on par with what I'm gonna be facing. That was my strategy, and it worked to a certain extent. It allows you to play to a certain floor, but then there's problem. I don't remember what was a problem, but I think at one point that I didn't have enough defense and I didn't have enough money to buy those defense. And my power was too much, even though I can cause significant damage to the monster I was facing. That their power was high as well, so they could cause me damage, and I couldn't even take one hit from them because my life was at such a low point. It was insignificant. Like it was thousands of life for those monsters. I only have 80 or 100. Like if I could just take two hits, I would win. But I didn't. I couldn't even take half a hit from those guys. Um, but yeah, even though later I got to know, like I didn't understand at the very beginning why would I lose, but even after I figured out how to do it and I figured out where I did wrong, like I would be more um well, I guess rational about the distribution of my resources. I would even out and be a more well-rounded hero, be a more well-rounded character in this game. I don't I I think that's a point that I feel like I wasn't that much into the game anymore. Like the building, that ruined the fun for me. It's a realization that no matter how powerful or how much offense I have, how much defense I can have, and occasionally I'll still meet challenges that I need my blood. I'll still need to consume my life. There's a strategy that you need to implement this in this game was that you need to be well rounded. You need to be well rounded You need to be good at every aspect of this. Three aspect, all three of them. You can't have one shortcoming. Like, you can't. And I think that's a part that really killed the fun for me. Like it's just not me. I can't do that, you know? Like, I don't want it. It's not I can't do it. I think I eventually did. Followed up with a was idea, or was instruction, was a strategy of being more well-rounded. It was getting easier if you just, whenever you get a coin, you equally distribute them into all these three categories, and that worked. I get to see the final monster. I get to save the princess, but it wasn't about that. Like that formula, it's it rubbed me the wrong way. Like back then when I was 18 or 19, I didn't know why, because like, quite frankly, if you win a game, you're supposed to feel good about it, right? Like, no matter, like, that's how I felt. If I win a game, I should feel good. But by following that kind of a strategy that I learned, and knowing that I need to be equally good at all these three categories to be victorious, it wasn't as much fun as the way how I was trying to just adding power to myself. Like when I was playing it in the way that I wanted to, like without the ability to even get to the highest level, to get to the top floor, and I look at the stats of that character, it's like 10,000 power, like 2,000 defense, and 85 life. That's my stats. That's my character build up, right? When I look at that, like I like this guy. I don't know how much I can relate to this guy, this hero character that I'm playing. I don't know how much I have similarity with this guy. I don't know. But I like him, you know? I like how committed he is just to perfect the aspect of him that is aggressive. He doesn't care. If you stab me, I bleed. I die. But you know what? Don't let me get to you, because you're gonna die too. He's a guy with a mission. He knows what he wants. He wanna hurt you. Like, that's it. He wanna hurt you. And he's gotta do that. Like, what you gotta do? You wanna stab me? Yeah. You probably can. Probably gotta die too, because I only have a life of 85. But at least I did my best to do what I'm here to do. In my opinion, the character is there to fight. And I built it that way, right? It was more real of a character for me, you know. But like in that game, to win the game, you gotta be power 5,000, defense 5,000, life 5,000, and then you're good to go. And every monster become an easy breezy. But who are you, hero? I don't. I don't like that hero. Mm. I think this whole thing about balance, especially growing up like in my family. Like, my parents always tell me that you should find the balance in life. Don't work too hard, um, but don't be lazy. Just find that sweet spot where everything kind of works for you. Work as hard as you can, but when you're tired, rest. And do other things like that in life as well. Then you will be good. You thrive to be the best. There's nothing wrong with that. But, just know. Just know there's no need to try something that is beyond your capacity, because all of us have this capacity. I'm quoting my parents' ideology right now. Like, everyone have a capacity, like you can't break through that. You have your capacity set for you. I don't know who said that, and they never been specific about that either, but there is a cap for your growth. There is a limit to everybody's growth. That's their belief, and there's no point to try so hard to get near that, because also my dad was pretty good with number and economic stuff, and he was telling me this idea that when you're trying to get to, let's say there's a number, how do I describe it? I think he said it was like a 80-20 rule. To get 80% value out of something, you need to spend 20% of the price. But the last 20%, if you want to extract that, you need to have 80% of the price put in there for that 20% value. I don't know why he think it was comparable to life. So basically, if your life is 100, your cap is 100. That's the maximum you can achieve. To achieve the first 80%, you need 20% of effort. As long as you're on your course, but to achieve the last 20%, to be, really going for the limits, that's becoming increasingly, like astronomically difficult. So you need to figure out when to stop. Like if you want a balanced, good life. And that's the key of I think that's the key of their philosophy, or at least the thing that they're trying to teach me, is that I need to thrive for a pretty balanced life. Money is not everything. Achievement is not everything. That balance is everything. Don't overdo yourself. Like trying to, like high school was tough, university was tough, but whenever life get really tough, they're always here. They're pretty chill people. I think my dad, like, it's really laid back, non-confrontational, and he's always very zenned out. Whenever we would have a conversation, he would be like, yeah, just, he doesn't say anything. He just do this. And I see that hand gesture. Like, well, for those who can't see me, this is like giving somebody a pat on the head kind of emotion with his hand, very softly. And he does this with the intention of telling me, just chill the fuck out. Just chill the fuck out. What you're in such a hurry for? Right? Right? Just chill the fuck out. Really. You don't have to. You don't have to do all those. Like, nobody's setting any goals for me. Especially when you're living in a foreign country. Like, even the society doesn't hold you accountable for pretty much anything. Like, if I were in China, there would be probably some kind of a social expectation of me. Like, people around me, at least, they will be keeping me on a short leash. That's what I expect. I don't know for sure, but based on my experience of living there previously, like, I know that, and I expect that, and I think there's nothing wrong with that, because you're you're like a member of that society, and you're expected in that certain way, and people know you. They feel like they know you. Like, they don't necessarily know you, but they feel like they know you. That expectation, that kind of anticipation, that kind of speculation justifies their short leash on you. Make them feel like, you know, they should hold you accountable for it collectively as societal members. So, in the contrary, in Estonia, or as a matter of fact, in any foreign country, you're not account. People don't anticipate, or people don't expect that they know you. So with that, they don't know what to hold you accountable for. As long as you're not doing crime, committing crime, as long as you're supporting yourself, they're really pretty cool with you. Like, you're a model immigrant if you don't commit crime and you can support yourself. And they really don't. That's, again, maybe a lot of foreigners have a different thing to say about this. My personal impression, I haven't been held accountable for a lot of things, which is great in one aspect, that you're granted freedom to be the person you want to be, to grow into the direction you want to grow, provided that you know that. Provided that you know that, right? Provided that you know that what kind of person you want to become. Provided you're confident that you're sure that you know what you want to become and the person you want to be. And that's tough. That is really tough. Yeah, like, all the responsibility now is on your shoulder. Yeah, now I don't have to be I don't have to get two bedroom apartment in downtown of a city just to get married, right? Now I don't have the pressure to feel like I need to drive a certain type of car at a certain age. Like, if you graduate, you get a Honda Jazz, and when you're 25, you get like Lexus, and when you're 35, you need to get a Audi or whatever. Like, fuck that, right? Nobody is telling you that anymore. And because you're in Estonia, maybe somebody else, like a local Estonian dude, would be expected to do that kind of thing, or follow a certain kind of a society imposed trajectory. But that trajectory is not expected from you. Nobody know who you are, right? Who are you? Nobody know who you are, and that's why it's not expected of you. Now all the burden is on you. Instead of cars, instead of making choices was your automobile. Now the choice is undefined. The choice is blank. Your options are blank. It's not between Honda Jazz or Audi A6. No, 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 no. Now it's everything. Now it's everything. Not only cars, lifestyle choices. When do you get up? What do you want to do? It's a grand ultimate question. Instead of a simple question of Audi A6 or Honda Jazz, now you're presented with a universal ultimatum of a question that is called, what's your mission on earth? What do you want to achieve? What are you here for? That's a tough, heavy question that you have to figure out by yourself, right? I think my parents feel that, through all these years of me, like, not around them. I think they start to understand that my psychology, how I think, is that I want to figure out this, and I'm trying my best to figure this out. Like, what's my point of being here or being anywhere, or what's my purpose? in this life. I think they started to feel it, and I think they started was not understanding it and asking me a question like, when are you gonna come back? Like we're gonna hook you up with a pretty sweet job. Like how we have this relative who work at the custom office, at the port, and like you can go work. You can go work there easily. You can get an interview, and as long as you don't show up with a short, you gotta get the job. It's a sweet gig. They're gonna have like free, um, you gotta have really good rice supply every year for you, like specifically for you at a discount price. Oh my god, you gotta love the job. By the end of the year, you gotta get 20 ducks. uh, like I'm not joking here. 20 ducks, flavored, seasoned, cooked. As the end of the year bonus. You get paid well. I mean, like, what I'm saying, like 20 ducks. You're probably expecting we only get paid in rice and duck. No, I think they get pretty well paid. It was, I think when the proposes, well, they made this proposal to me back in 2013, 14, 15, when I graduated from Japan. It was the first time we talked about it, or a little bit before that, even 2014, I'll say, like a couple years back. And the one I first graduated was a bachelor degree in international relations, which is a quite useful degree back then, right? International relations, and they say just come back work or work was that a friend of theirs or a relative, distant relative or whatever. The pay was, how much was it? 2万元. So much, sir. So close to 2,600 euro a month. Yeah, around there. 3,000 euro a month salary with yearly bonus. That is like 1 month or 2 months salary at the end of the year. And you get all those free rice and ducks. It's a sweet gig, and it's kind of like working. You're in a pretty solid position. You're working probably for the government. I think custom office sounds like you're yeah, you're working for the government, which means like nobody can touch you. You won't lose your job unless you royally fuck up. You're set for life. Yeah, it's pretty sweet gig. They gotta hook you. They gotta give me some stipend for getting an apartment so I can get married in China. Um, my parents are probably gonna help me out with a fancy car. They was thinking about Porsche. Um, I don't know what kind of Porsche, but they like Porsche. So yeah, in their opinion, at that point, back in 2014, 2015, in their opinion, I did my part. I worked hard. I put, like they expected, 80% of my energy or close to there. Like at least I made it look like I at least invested a lot of my time to better myself, to study. Even when I was abroad, I didn't let myself go. I didn't just play computer game all day. I was still studying. I was still grinding it out. I was a great student in their opinion. And now they think my mission is over. Like transition. Let's help you transition into this new role, job market, into the workforce, into adulthood. And now you can perform in a different position and do what you do best. Give maybe 80%, 70% of your effort, and then feel happy and live a balanced life. A balanced life. See, at this point, I don't really know what they mean by balanced. You know, they never define it. I never really asked them. I don't know what they mean by balanced. Like, you mean like work and rest balance? But in my opinion, that's only like a small proportion of balance we're talking about here, right? It's not, life is not like, it's oversimplified. It's not just work and rest. There's so much complexity within life. You can't just say I'm either working or I'm resting. Like it's so much more than that. You know, there are nuances that's beyond my comprehension even nowadays. But let's table that. I don't know what they mean by balance, but obviously I didn't pick up that offer. I didn't say I would stay here. I'll be working in the custom office with my distant relative or friend of theirs for the coming years. No, I wouldn't. I decided to come to Estonia, and it was back in 2015, August 2015, studying anthropology. Now you see, like, I'm really far away from them. You know, like far away from everybody I used to know. Like most of the kids that I went to high school with stayed in China. Besides a handful of them left for America, Canada, Japan. And when I was in Japan, most of the classmates I had, most of my college friends, either stayed in Japan or they went home. By home, I mean America, Canada, and China, right? So I was in my element. In any of those places, I was kind of close to either in China or in Japan. I was close to those people that I knew for a very long time. I was close to my parents. I was close to friends and relatives, and people I kind of grew up with. Right, it was at least like a similar time zone. An hour difference is nothing, right? Tokyo, Nanjing, 1 hour. It's all good. And flight only took about 2.5 hours to go from Shanghai to Tokyo. So if my parents want to come over, which they didn't, they could have been to Tokyo anytime they wanted. Or any of my friends in high school. But now I'm in Estonia since 2015, and this is a very far place. I'm not only talking about the physical distance, I'm talking about the psychological side of things as well. Like the allegorical, metaphysical, philosophical distance, all of those. Dialectical, all those distance. Like they're all far away for those people I knew before 2015. It was truly a cutting core moment for me to decide to move here. Because all of a sudden, like to actually get here, let's just talk about the logistic. To get here, like you can't directly fly to Tallinn from China. You can't do that. You gotta go to Finland first, to Helsinki, and then take a ferry to come over, which is a recent addition, by the way. And back then, like when I first got here, you can't even transit from Finland that easily because the flight wasn't going that often from China. I think they might have a few flights back then. I wasn't sure. Especially from my hometown, Nanjing, there was no direct flight here. So what you need to do is you need to directly go to Frankfurt, like most often, more than any other port. You'll go to Frankfurt and then take a flight from Frankfurt to Tallinn. It's like a little detour there, right? But still, like there's not so many flights. The most secure one that you can go is to transit twice. To go to one of the major hub in Europe, Frankfurt or Paris, and then go from there to Helsinki and then take the ferry over, right? That's the most secure way to get a cheap ticket. But if you want to just transit once, you probably gotta pay a lot more. Um, so yeah, logistically, it's way further away, and just this place is so foreign to anybody I know. Right? They don't know anything about this place. Um, they don't understand it. Even when you're looking up the place on the internet, like you don't understand it. You know what I mean? Like there's so much info about Russia. There's so much info about Germany. Like you could find references easily in Chinese, in Japanese, because there are people who have been living there and they have been writing blogs and whatever information pieces out there. It's so easy. But with Estonia, like besides Wikipedia, like what do you get? Like you get a fact. You know how big the land is, like where is the capital city, and you know how many people are here. But those facts, it doesn't tell you shit. Like you don't understand. Like what is 1.3 million people? Like so what? What are those people like? Right? And then you tell you, well, you were under the Soviet occupation until 1991. So what? What was the Soviet occupation like, and what's the consequence of that? What's the impact of that occupation to the people? Like, there's nothing. Limited resources in Chinese or Japanese. So, like, looking back and then putting myself in my parents' shoes, I pretty much disappeared from the surface of the earth. Like, I call them once every 2 months or once every a few months. And besides that, I pretty much disappeared. Like, they don't have any. See, like, here's the thing. Like, if I were in Germany, I would expect it to be a lot better for them psychologically to digest that information. It's like, yeah, my son is in Germany. Like, you can, I think, like, they can put me in that position. They can put me in that context where they're kind of like familiar with, they're kind of aware of, at least. Germany, sausage, Frankfurter, whatever. Like, it's a familiar, aware, understood environment for them, for my parents, for people I knew. I'd be like, yeah, Pinchon is over there. It's in Hamburg, eating hamburgers. Guten Talking, everybody. I don't know. They will understand. And when they talk about me with other people would understand. And that provide an affirmation, a reaffirm idea of me existing, me still in their life. But now I dropped out. Like when now they think of me, like I might as well, like, in the jungle, in the Amazon, like anywhere. Like it's so foreign to them. Like it's hard for them to grasp, to put me in a place and then say, Penchong is there. Penchong's in Tallinn. It's like saying anything. It's Penchong is in the universe. Penchong is on Earth, bro. That's how it felt. To them, I figure. I never confronted them, but I just remember them asking me so much about what the place is like. But yeah, like the conversation about me going home and getting a job gradually died out throughout the year. And when I finally got my place at Tallinn University as a doctor student, like it totally stopped back in 2018, I believe. All this conversation about me going back and work at the customer office has stopped. Like they just don't ask about it anymore. No. Like all of a sudden they realize I'm probably never going to go back. I'm probably never going to work at the customer office. I'm probably never going to eat those delicious cooked seasoned ducks that I would be entitled to. But yeah, I don't know. Like, but they, as parents are parents, they don't want, they don't think about me going back anymore. But they're very curious. Like, I think they grew more curious about my life throughout the years because they don't know what I'm off to. It's kind of like the track that I was on before. It was known to them, right? People go to Japan to get a degree. It's a popular choice for people of my city. My cousin, who is 4 years older than me, um, was a Japanese major. It's not an odd choice for a Chinese kid to go to Japan to get a degree, which I did. So all the way up to like uh, me getting my bachelor's degree, that was on a track that they think was reasonable, right? So I grew up pretty good, getting to some fight, but still a good kid. Still okay. At least I'm good at school. So all the way up to university graduation, I was on track, on a track that was known to my parents, but then broke loose. 2015, transition time. Came to Estonia, got a master's degree in anthropology, continued with anthropology of doctor of anthropology. Man, this is unknown territory. Not only to my parents, but to pretty much everyone. They know, like, not right. Something is off, man. something, something happened. What is going on now? Where's the track, dude? Like, they never ask me questions. I remember one of my friend Chen Chao. Shout out to Chen Chao. My best friend from middle school, one of my closest friend who's still living in China. He never asked me any question about what I want to do in the future while I was in Japan. He's like, yeah, that's what he's got to do. He got things figured out. He's great at study. He speak really good Japanese now. He's got to be good. He's got to come back to China. He's got to find a job. That's what Chen Chao, my friend, was expecting of me. And then all of a sudden, boom, Estonia. And now they start to ask questions, like, because they don't know what's going on in your head anymore. It's not on the track. It's not on their track. It's like, what you want to do? Like, what are you doing in Estonia? Like, what do you eat there? What's your goals? Like, what do you want? What do you want from Estonia? What are you milking there? Um to to be totally honest with you, like, to be totally honest with my parents, I I was honest with them all the time. I I don't fucking know. No. I don't fucking know. No. I don't know. I really don't. For the longest time that I can remember, um, I know what I don't want. And there's this push and pull factor. The pull was never that strong. I never felt like I was pulled or compelled to go to a place or do a certain thing. No matter what the choice might be, I never felt that inclined to write, to perform, to do anything pretty much. Like if I can choose, if I don't, if I'm only looking at the pull factor of the things of life, I'll be very happy just sit around and watch YouTube, watch airplane reviews, flight reviews, watch silent videos of people climbing mountains, and read books, the books that I have already read, probably again and again. I want to read A Wild Sheep Chase. I want to read The Great Gatsby. I want to read The Catcher in the Rye. But yeah, if it was just pull factors, those are the thing I want to do, right? But life for me at this point is not about push. It's not about pull. It's about push because I know what I don't want to do. You know, I have such a strong visceral feeling for those things I hate. That's a motivation. Those are the motivation. I don't want to have a corporate 9 to 5 job. That's why I'm doing my doctor's degree in anthropology. It's a way out, right? It's an alternative to a 9 to 5. I know I don't want to be, you know, be a slave of money. That's why I want to be creative. I want to create things that matters. I want to create valuable artistic things, meaningful things, right? If it wasn't for me knowing what I don't want to do, I wouldn't do much. But the good thing is, I'm about to be entering into a new chapter of my life. I feel the transition. I feel those push, those hatred. They were fading into the background. The pulls are coming in. It's kind of like, this is a weird analogy. It's kind of like launching a rocket. Like first you need all those fuel to really push you out of the Earth gravity. And once you get somewhere, like it's some other planet pulling you in now, like some black hole or whatever. Now you're going. Now there's nothing dragging you back. You're not going because of fear. You're not going because of the hatred. You're going because of something else. And I think this is a very interesting time of my life where the push is fading to the background. I'm less and less fearful. It's still there. I still fear a 9 to 5 job. I still fear a life where I can see the end of it, right? But they're fading more and more. It's not the end of the world. If I have to do a 9 to 5, I'll do it. I'm not scared of it, you know? I know I wouldn't, but I'm not scared of it anymore, I think. A lot of things I used to be fearful of, I think they're gradually fading into the background. And there's new gravity, there's new pull factor that come into existence that emerge from this vacuumness that is created by the receding of the push. It's there. I still don't understand what it is. That's a secret too. I don't want to tell you what it is yet. The new pull, because I don't want to say it yet. I guess I wanna wrap this up. You know, I want to wrap this up, and remember I was telling you about the balance thing. How my parents really want me to have a balanced life. Um, I think it's not what they meant. I think they just want me to be happy. And to see me going so exhausted at things I do, it hurt their feeling. It make them question themselves as well. That if they're leading me, they're supporting me the right way or the way that I need. It makes them hesitant, right? That's why they say you need to have a more balanced life, because they think the cause of me going so hard on things is because I do things in a balanced way. I'm going all out. Just like the game I used to play. I go all out on power and I neglect the life. I neglect the defense. I just go out on the power, on the punches. And I don't think about how to defend myself. I don't think about how to rest. And that's their understanding of why I'm like, why I can look exhausted sometimes, why I can look so tired sometimes. Because I really give, in my opinion, I really give things all I can, all I have, everything, if I feel it. And they think it's a problem because they think I'm not happy. They think when I'm looking tired, when I'm looking just exhausted and fucking spent, they think I'm in a bad place. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're right. Maybe I really don't know what happiness is. But you know what? You know what? I don't know any other way. I if you're telling me that if you're telling if you're telling me the right way to crack this life, to defeat this life, to master this life, to power through this life, to win this life, to whatever, to understand this life, to make sense out of this life. If you're telling me the only way I can blank this life is to have power 5,000, defense 5,000, life 5,000, I'd rather just drop dead. I don't know any other way. Yeah. I know I'm probably not balanced, but I don't know any other way. I don't know any other way to live. I'll be that power 10,000, defense 2,500, and life 85 kind of dude. And that's me. Is that balance? Is that imbalance? I don't know. Like I said, what is balance? What am I balancing? Life is so vague. I wouldn't even write about life. How do you write about life? I can't even talk about how to cook a beefsteak right in a podcast, right? Nah. I think my parents are worried about me, and I'm really thankful. And I think a lot of people are worried about me. Maybe not a lot, but a handful of people that I know that and know me well as well. They care about me, and in that sense, I'm thankful for them worrying about me, living such an imbalanced life. But just maybe this imbalance is the only balanced way I know. We'll come back. We'll come back and talk about this later. But yeah, I don't know when we're going to have the next episode. We'll see. We'll see. I miss you guys. I miss talking to you. And it's a wonderful feeling. To be able to have this platform and just voice it out, man. Sometime. Yeah. See you guys soon, man. See you guys soon. That's it. I'm going home.